Peace and love, family. Peace and love. It's your boy Chris Enlightened coming back again with some more spiritual battles. And today I'm going in on hearing your ancestors. Ooh, that's a good one, family. This is a good one. Hearing your ancestors. Ooh. This is a good one because I get this question over and over and over. Chris, how do I hear my ancestors? I don't hear nothing, Chris Enlightened. Chris Enlightened. Do my ancestors hear me? Yes and yes. There's ways to hear your ancestors, but it's a little challenging if you don't know how. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Most humans won't hear their ancestors speak to them like, Chris, this is what I said. The book is read and it's in the cabinet. It's not going to be like that, family. It's not going to be like that. It's kind of like this, family. You're on top of the pool and your ancestors are under the water and they're trying to communicate with you. And if someone's trying to say their ABCs underwater and you're on top of the water, you're not going to hear anything. Everything is going to be like that. But if there was a way for them to show you signs or symbols of what they're doing, you'll be able to decipher the message. And that's what you'll have to do. But you won't be able to use your ears and your eyes and your mouth and your nose to sense what they're trying to get through to you, because all those tangible things are in this earthly domain. You're going to have to use your second senses in order to connect with your ancestors the way you want to hear them. Okay, family? So I'm going to give you some scenarios. If you're having problems with money and things like that, and you reach out to your ancestors to help you out with some financial things, you may just start finding money everywhere. And that's their way for them to let you know that they listen to you, they hear you. You may be going to Walmart, getting you some socks or whatever it is you're getting. You look on the ground, you see some pennies or some quarters or even some paper money. You never know. And it may not be $1,000. It may not be exactly what you need, but it will be something to let you know that they heard your message, that they received your message. And that's confirmation for you that they're listening to you. Another thing, you may say, you know what, I want some companionship. Not a special boo or something like that, but a comrade or a confidant or something like that. And one day out the blue, you may be listening to the radio and it may say a weird name. Later on that day in the grocery store, you get introduced to someone new and it has that name. That could possibly be your ancestors letting you know to be mindful of this name the next time you hear it. It'll be little signs like that where you have to use your intuition to decipher the message. It's not going to always be clear like that. There are some people like my wife and some other spiritual dream team members have special gifts where they're clairaudio, where they just hear clear as day what the ancestors are saying. Me, I have challenges with understanding that side of me because we have all the clairs. It's just some are just stronger than other people than they are in you. You know what I mean? But there's one of the clairs that you may be strong with. You may be clairsentient. You may be sitting watching TV and all of a sudden you start like smelling liquor or smelling Old Foster or smelling some greens that your granny made. That's a sign that your granny probably is with you right then. So those are some of the ways that you can decipher the messages that your ancestors are giving you, family. I do want to tell you this, family. Your ancestors are always around you. They're always around you. You have at least 2 to 7 or even more people around you at all times. I'll share a personal story with you. I'll say about 6 years ago, I went to this psychic fest. Shout out to the, what's it called? The Victory of Light. It comes here in Cincinnati every year, November and April of every year. It's called the Victory of Light. It's a psychic festival. And I heard about this spiritual brother by the name of Tom Stone. Peace and blessings be upon him. He's no longer in this earthly domain. But I heard that he would give you a reading and he would give you some stones that you need to further your spiritual path. So I go up to Tom Stone's booth and all he does is just give free readings. And he points you to some certain crystals that will help you out. That's where his name Tom Stones comes from. So I'm in line, I'm like 20th in line, and he's just giving everybody his eyes rolling the back of his head. He's giving everybody's reading, and everybody's all excited. He's pointing them to the stones that they need. So the 30 minutes of this is my turn, and he smiles at me. He extends his hands and shakes my hand. He touches me. I didn't see him touch anybody else, but he shook my hand. And he was like, "You're working on getting in contact with your ancestors." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You like angels too?" I was like, "Yeah." And so he was like, his eyes rolled back. He said, "You want to know how many spirit guides you have?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You have 7. I was like, "Wow." He said, "They're with you at all times. They're always around you." He said, "You want to know who the leader name is?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Her name is Jill. She's your main spirit guide. She's always with you and she's always been with you. Whenever you need anything from your ancestors, reach out to Jill and she will get all your ancestors together and work with you." And I was like, "Great." And he pointed me to some stones and my wife, to some crystals. My wife went up there next. He told her who her spiritual guide was. I think she had like 15 with her. I was like, "Dang, I thought I was banging." She got a legion of spiritual dream team members with her. And he told her her main spiritual guide and all this other good stuff and told her some other things to make her smile. But he was able to tap right in to the energy of everyone else's ancestors because he had that gift. But regardless, it doesn't matter if you can hear your ancestors or not. Even if you don't know who your spiritual guide is, still acknowledge them. Still acknowledge whomever is around you at all times working with you in your best favor. You don't have to know them by name, just know that they're there and give thanks in advance. Because I'm here to tell you, your intent modifies future probabilities of your ancestors working with you. If you're always being earnest, you're always giving thanks and having gratitude for a legion of ancestors that you don't even see but you know is there, more than likely they'll be working more for you than someone who don't even acknowledge them. The same way I acknowledge my ancestors, the same way I acknowledge the gods and all the elements, I acknowledge them all the same. I acknowledge them all the same. I give thanks for them. Thanks for looking out and protecting me and my family. You know what I mean, family? You know what I mean, family? So I really want you to think about that the next time you're alone, or the next time you're on the way to work, the next time you take a drink of water, the next time you eat, whenever you're woke, just give thanks for your ancestors. If you can't say it verbally because the people are around you and you don't want them to know you're talking to your ancestors, wait till you're alone or use your mind and talk to them. They don't use this guttural language that we use. They understand it, but they're on a different frequency. And when you're on the other side, you talk through the pineal anyway. You use your mind. Your ancestors, spiritual guides, higher divine sources and forces, they can communicate with you etherically through the mind. You don't have to always use the verbal. You see that ding? They let you know like ding. That's right, Chris Enlightened. You know what I mean, family? So hopefully you got some jewels, family. I really want you to start acknowledging your ancestors and watch your life change. Start taking care of your ancestors, burning ancestor money, giving them libations, food, gifts, whatever you want. Cake, birthday cake, whatever they like, suckers, liquor. You know what I mean? Back in the day when I used to smoke weed, I put weed on my altar. I don't smoke no more. I don't have weed, so I put weed on my altar. But if you like liquor, put liquor on your altar. You can do all that. I want you to have some spiritual ingenuity in your spiritual practices, and I want you to have some spiritual ingenuity on your ability to pick up the signs that your ancestors are talking to you. I really want you to focus on that, family. Nothing really exists until you focus on it. So start focusing on your ancestors communicating with you, and you'll pick up on the signs. I'll share one more story with you, family. Years ago when I first got my ancestor altar up, I put my father on there. Yeah, my father wasn't even cool in real life like that. Wasn't cool at all. He's alright, but he never did anything for me. No birthdays, no Christmases, none of that. But when he transitioned, I was in the beginning stages of my spiritual path, so I put him on my ancestor altar anyway. And when I did that, I'll say about 2 weeks later, he came to me in my dreams. And he was talking to me like this. I couldn't understand anything what he was saying. I'll say about 3 days later, me and my wife, I don't know where we were going, but I seen a license plate that said Will. And that was my father's name was Gilbert, but he went by Gil. And his twin brother name was Wilbert, and he went by Will. And it had his name, Will, and the date he died. So I realized then, it just kind of clicked to me like, my father was telling me to put my Uncle Wilbert on my altar. When I did that, my father stopped coming to me in my dreams. So those are some ways that your ancestors are going to be coming to you. They can manipulate numbers, electricity, create serendipitous things happening to you. You think that's just coincidence? There are no coincidences, family. There are no coincidences. Everything means something. Your ancestors are trying a plethora, a myriad of ways to get messages through to you. You just have to be able to receive them and be perceptive enough to catch them when they give them to you. So hopefully you got some jewels, family. It's your boy Chris Enlightened. If you haven't purchased any of my books, go out to Amazon.com right now. Purchase The Enlightened Talk, Poverty Consciousness, Wealth Consciousness, and Dissolving Your Limitations. Until then, family, you already know what I'm doing. I'm out here winning.